This is a box. This is the thing that we're always being told that we need to think outside of. I would have gotten the box, but there's stuff in it, so I can't get in it. But this is the thing that they tell you to always get outside of. But today's episode is about putting yourself willingly inside of this thing in order to get out of it again. Let's talk about it. I'm gonna already ask for a little bit of leeway with this video because this isn't as scripted and as planned as a normal Richard Ashby video. So if this isn't to the quality standards that you come to expect for a Richard Ashby video, I apologize for that. Now, this is a concept that I found really interesting, and you've heard it time and time again from many different creators. Like, I'm not the one who came up with this. Like, Adam Neely made a whole video about it. Venus Theory even did a video about it. So I really want to give my own ideas and my own interpretations for how limitations can be helpful to your art and to your creativity. When you have infinite options, one of the infinite options is nothing. So by limiting the amount that you have to work with, you really have to think outside the box on how to get around that hurdle to get to your final product. Now, limitations can really be anything, but I wanted to give a couple examples here today so that you can maybe try them out yourself. The first one, and probably the most common that I've seen, is time-based limitation. Set a thing you want to do and then set a time limit for how long you're going to take to do it. When you have a time limit, it really forces you to just keep going and not get stuck on little things that may not even matter. Trust me, I get it. I'm an incredibly detail-oriented person, and it has caused me to create some things that I don't think I could have if I wasn't this kind of person. But it has also caused me to just freeze in my own perfectionism. For my perfectionists out there, tell me if this sounds familiar. You really want to do something, it's not going to turn out as great as you think it's going to turn out, so you just don't do it. You just left that idea floating, or you started and never finished it because it wasn't going to live up to your expectations. So you just chose to not do it. This is a hard thing to overcome as an artist of any medium, whether that be music or visual art or dance or anything like that. But the only way to get better at your craft is to continue to do your craft. And by starting and not finishing tons of projects, you're not necessarily getting better. Learning to finish your work is a whole other skill set, but that's a different video for another day. Alright, the second type of limitation I want to talk about today is hardware-based limitations. It may be hard to think about nowadays when everything is just kind of super powerful, but there was a time where it wasn't. My favorite example of hardware-based limitations is from the Nintendo Entertainment System in 1983. I want you to imagine being tasked with creating music for a brand new video game console. Doing this nowadays seems pretty easy. You just load up your favorite plugins and your favorite DAW, and then you just create and then send it off. But back in 1983, you weren't so lucky to have all of those resources. You see, the Nintendo Entertainment System only had 5 audio channels on it. It had 2 pulse waves, one at 25%, one at 50%, one triangle wave, a noise channel, and a sampler. That's it. That is all you had to work with. And even having such extreme constraints, composers like Koji Kondo was able to make some of the most iconic melodies in history with these 5 channels. So the idea for the hardware constraint is just to use one piece of equipment. Like maybe you're going to use one hardware, or like you're going to do the NES challenge and use the 5 separate audio channels, and that's all you have to create a full piece of music. This one sounds really fun to me, so let's do the NES version. I'm going to load up 5 tracks with each of the 5 waveforms that the NES could handle, and then we'll try to make something with it. So here we are in Logic, and we have 4 audio channels here. I decided not to do a sample channel just for simplicity's sake, but this 4th channel here with the drums kind of serves as both. Before we get started, all the synth tracks are powered by Vital, which is a free synth. The first track is a 50% pulse wave, also known as a square wave, which I've shortened to squave here. Then we have a 25% pulse wave here, and then the triangle wave is right here. And for the drums, I just have a generic Logic drum kit up. So let's go ahead and let's make something. So I think I decided on a melody here that's very cheery, very happy, very Nintendo-esque. I think it serves the square wave very well. The only thing now is I gotta come up with harmonies on a bass on it, but I'm probably gonna do a normal chugging little grooving bass, just, but you know, obviously lower. Sounds alright though, so let's just keep developing it and see where it goes. One last constraint that could be really educational is to try to create something in the style of somebody else. You've seen this on my channel before, where I've created a song in the style of a different artist or in different genres before. Doing this can teach you a lot about different production techniques or different songwriting styles or just different ways to think about things. The way that one artist or genre may interpret a melody could be completely different from how another one does. And then you can take what you've learned from those experiments and translate them back into your own styles, and that is invaluable information. It may also be worth it for you to try to emulate styles that you don't enjoy and figure out what is it exactly that you don't like about this, and what would you do to make it something that more aligns with your own taste. There's tons to be learned by emulating different artists and different styles, so I say go nuts with that and have a good time with it. Limiting yourself is a rewarding task that you can do in any medium of art, not just music. You'll learn a lot about yourself and you'll learn a lot about your craft just by doing these things. Why don't you go out and set some time limits or track limits or something and just see what happens. Well, that's all for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. You know, do all the YouTube things. And if you're looking for something else to help your music grow, maybe you try this cool little sound design tip over here. I'll leave you to it. Anyway, that's it for today. I'll catch you guys later.